Good evening and welcome to the Plastic Crack podcast. Joined tonight by a special guest as well as Gumbo Liam.
Surprised I made it.
So we've got Dom from Boots on the Table. We've got Liam, obviously, because it's Liam. And we've also got Steve from On Point HQ. Welcome, Steve. If you can hear us.
He's waving.
He's waving.
He's
so he can
waving.
hear us. That's
He's
good.
waving.
That's a good start.
Can you hear me? No, change your mic in your settings.
Oh,
It's
dear.
fine. We'll keep talking till
We'll
Steve
keep
can
it.
Steve can start. Steve, do
There
you want to start, Dom?
Just because nobody believed he really existed, you see. That we've been saying for about 3 weeks he's going to join us, and the technology's defeated us every single time.
But it hasn't today. Drivers have been updated.
Drivers are there, and it is all working. Yeah. Good evening, everybody who's watching. I can't see how many we got so far because my screen hasn't updated. Oh, 4. There you go. Good. Can you hear us, Steve? He's looking blank. Well, while Steve tries to catch up with everything, so what have you been working on this week then, Liam? What have you been up to?
Right, everything rodent this week.
Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat.
Ratata, yeah. Lots of rats, lots and lots of Skaven. Thank a little care package from Ken. So
That's very
got a couple of-
considerate,
That should be my
isn't
new.
it?
It should be my new nickname. You know, the Taskmaster.
he is the Taskmaster. I've done a few plague rats, a few rat ogres, doing the old fancy battle stuff.
Nice.
And I'll be working on the Skaven clan rats tonight, as well as a little engineer seer thing, engine seer or grey seer, I think they're called. And I bought a board game which included mice and rats, so I'm also painting them. So even more rats and rodents.
So if you didn't have enough
Great, isn't it?
before, you've got plenty more now. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, that was partially self-inflicted.
Yeah, and you can't even blame Ken for that one.
No,
you
but
can't.
I can blame him for, the pressure of having to do this within a week.
Oh, why is it
Yes,
a
you
week?
can.
Why is this deadline?
Actually, it was it was my idea just to sort of get me batch painting because obviously he's got a lot of Skaven to get through, and I just fancy something different. So I stupidly offered, and now
Yeah,
I
you
regret it.
And now you're now that's it. You are hooked.
Yeah, it has
you
been
love
nice
them
painting
that-
fancy.
Yeah, of course it is.
It was always a bit of I always picked the hardest armies to paint in fantasy, and this is probably one of the easier ones. So I wish I had done something like this first when I first started fantasy. It would have been a lot
There's
easier
a
to
lot
get into.
to be said for that. Just choose something simple and stick to it.
Yeah, exactly for the
yeah.
starter anyway.
What
I
about you,
always
Ken?
picked
What you-
these
Sorry.
Chaos Warriors, which were just full of skulls and everything on them. So it was always a pain to paint.
Yeah.
I'm fiddling now.
Oh no! Don't fiddle.
What are you fiddling
No, I've
with?
got to because I've realised that I am getting reverb on my audio. So give me
Oh my
2
God.
seconds.
Well, while he's fiddling,
Sorry, guys.
Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We got Miller's Miniatures. Hiya, mate. Nick from Medieval Warriors here. Hiya, guy. Peter Little, he's on. Seventh Son, you're in early. Good boy. Well done. Escape from the Missus. Good job. And Lee from Battle Bunker Blog. Hiya. How you doing, guys? Thanks for joining. So, Steve, can you hear us now?
Low, but you and Liam, yeah, I'm having it fine.
Cool. Good.
You hear me now?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
As always,
Didn't
our
know,
mandatory thing in the chat, guys. If the sound's a bit wobbly, can you let us know? Because probably Liam's broken it or something. Actually, no, it's probably me. I'm the one that usually breaks it.
My audio is sorted. I've worked out why I've been having a reverb. Yes, I've figured it out.
Oh my God!
I had it set to the wrong thing.
How long have you had a reverb for? No, not been a problem
Every
before,
episode.
has it? No. Has it?
Yeah, it has
way.
been. Yeah. People are going to come in and be like, "Oh my God, that's so clear."
I can actually hear what you're saying now. Good
I had
stuff.
it set so I was picking the audio up from my
Nice.
headset, but the microphone was doing my thing, but it didn't like it on my headset. But so now I've set it so it's both coming like through the communication part of my headset, so it's working fine now. Happy days.
Ken, you're of all three, you're the clearest.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
There you go. I've actually set my system up properly.
Bloody
My
hell. How many
God.
weeks have been doing this, and you finally got it working? Well done, mate.
12 weeks.
Is it 12?
Right, there we go. So now your channel will probably hear me a bit better as well, Dom.
Nice.
So there we go.
Nice. There we go. Good
Right.
stuff. So,
Where did we
on?
get to? Sorry.
We were doing the intro.
Yeah, I missed
bits
all of
and
that.
We were talking about Liam's projects, which he just seems to be Mr. Ratty from Ratikins, from what I can tell.
Yeah, he's Ratatouille, all right.
Ratatouille, that's it. What about you, Steve? What you've been working on this week?
Blanking you, Dom.
He's blanking me,
no.
isn't he? It's bloody
Steve?
hopeless. Steve, hello, Earth calling, Steve.
You cutting out, mate? Well, what have I been working on?
Yeah, what you been
Yeah.
working on this week?
Bits and pieces, mainly German stuff. As per usual, I did build that log bunker last week, which is a bit different for me. But tonight I'm working on a sort of cobble together marine sniper team for a bolt action with my customary over the top large base going on as well.
Very nice indeed.
That's a trademark for you, isn't it, Steve? Massive bases with
Yes.
really OTT stuff on it. I love it.
They are getting big. I mean, that one I did for the heavy mortar team, that started off on a standard base, and then it just went mad.
Do you have any room on the table for the actual games to happen? You know, the bases just get so bloody big. The French stuff you did a while back, I saw that, and your gun batteries on that. I mean, bloody hell, they were enormous.
Oh, was that the French one?
Yeah, the French ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that started off normal size, and then I ended up adding bits of the ruined hamlet to it.
Oh,
I'm-
I thought from.
It's going, but I'm primarily a modeler and not a gamer. So
Right.
whether the base correctly is it's not.
Got some
not
Skaven
important.
if you want to do them, mate.
Just don't let Ken
the
get
Taskmaster
you
on.
into bloody doing anything fantasy or war or 40k or anything. Just say no. Just say no. You know that advert?
Just say no.
no.
Just say no.
Just
Talk to
say
Frank.
No. Because you know what I've been doing all bloody week? Orcs. Sodding orcs. Got me completely in on it. I'm actually quite enjoying
fucking
doing them
hooked.
as well.
Hook on and sinker. Are you actually enjoying them, are you?
I actually quite enjoy painting them. It's so different. Although I have to say, and these models are really quite nice. I bitch and moan about plastics all the time, and
Yes, you
rightly
do,
so.
Dom. Yes, you do.
I do. I did on a video today as well. But these are plastics, and actually they are sensible plastics because they've got enough variety to make the unit different, but they go together so easily. You know, it's only a couple of arm changes and a head change.
Yep.
And you can position them in loads of different areas, different ways, and it looks sensible. They go together relatively easily, and you get a bit of variety. But it's not like you're having to, stop your fingers being glued together and then them all falling apart afterwards. I'm really quite impressed with the figures. I think they're kind of easy to put together. Although,
The Mantic, weren't they?
yeah, they're Mantics.
Yeah, they're Mantic, yeah.
Trying to work out what bits of what equipment or what go where is a bit problematic. But at the end
What
of
were
the
the
day,
instructions like?
what instructions? I'm a man. I didn't read any instructions. I never do.
Oh,
It drives my
dear.
wife mad. No.
Do you get musicians in there and standards?
There is
Yeah.
only one, I think. That's one slight criticism. There's basically you get two infantry units, so one with double-handed axes and one with single-handed axes, and there is only one drummer total,
Yeah.
which seems a bit odd.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, normally you should have two.
yeah. I don't know whether. Well, that was definitely the case in the box. There's only the one, so that's fine. I mean, it's no big deal. I've managed to actually just create a model one of the guys with a slightly different pose that can be the officer or unit leader or whatever they have in the system. and use the other
Champion.
one. Yeah, champion, whatever.
Just give them 2 sticks. That can be their instrument.
Yeah,
They're only orcs.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I'm quite enjoying them. I have to
That's
say,
a really good point.
yeah, they're going to be fun.
Who's
to
happy with them, Dom,
I
innit?
never thought I'd hear the day when Dom was sat there working on orcs.
You're not kidding, mate. You're not kidding.
This is what I do
I mean,
to
if
him.
20, as if 2020 couldn't get any more strange.
The world has come to a complete end. I haven't played with them yet, though, Steve. That's the thing. But yeah, there's one done. I've done 6.
Oh, you
fully
will.
done,
Oh, you will.
and I've got another 8 on the production line. Yeah, bloody will as well. Who else have we got in here?
Unbelievable.
So we've got Paul in the house.
What's up
Hiya,
next,
Paul.
Dom?
How you doing,
French?
mate? No, I'm not. I'm not going to go that far, mate. Absolutely not. There's
That's next birthday,
no
Ken.
call
That's
for
it. Give him a
that.
French army.
Aye.
Even hands. You should, Dom. You should have done them French style orcs, mate.
Oh.
That would have been. That
How
would
the
have
hell
been.
would that work?
That would have been a unique army.
Do you remember there was a game? I can't. Was it called Flintlock or so? It was something. It was like a medieval version. A Napoleonic version of fantasy. So you had orcs who were. Richard Sharp was an orc, from what I remember, and 95th Rifles were done up of orcs. And then there was. I can't remember. They're all different nationalities played the different races in Napoleonics.
Right.
Made me think of that when you mentioned that. But no, I'm not going to do them French. It's bad enough doing bloody orcs, but I'm not doing French as well. That's just going to bloody far. What else have we got in the chat? So we got did I
Guaranteeing
mention
about-
Paul here? He's Paul Richardson. Hiya, mate. We got Duncan. Hiya there. Leslie's in the house. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, good.
All right.
All
Hello,
coming
everybody in
together.
my chat. Welcome. Get the questions a firing. Get them a firing. Get them in early.
So in honour of Steve being here for the first time.
You didn't even ask me. You didn't even ask me.
Oh shit!
Didn't
Yeah,
even
go
ask
on
me.
then.
Seb's on. Seb's on our
Oh,
chat.
do we have to talk to Kev?
What-
Oh, go on, Ken. Then you talk. Go on. What you been doing?
What have I
then,
done
mate?
this?
That's
we
enough
don't
of
want to
you.
hear
That's
what
enough
you've
of you.
done,
Let
do
back
we?
to Steve.
I don't. Well, I can't. You know, I can't brag about it because it's the secret project. Oh. So I've been working on the secret project. Oh, you never guess what it is. I'm not telling you, so wait for the video. But I've done plenty of those. But I also have got a huge collection of books come this week. Actually,
Oh, nice.
I've got some reading material. Liam will know what these are. I got some manuals from 2003 and 2002. I've also got the 2004 annual. I've got a mini 8th edition rulebook. Oh, what's that? Something just fell out of it? I wish it was 20 quid. That would
Oh, yeah. What is that? I remember that.
I know,
always
it's a
been-
bit of victory conditions. There you go.
Yeah, it was like an add-on they put in afterwards. Just
Yeah.
slot it in instead of reprinting it.
Yeah.
Still charge you full price.
Also got yeah, exactly. Got the Skaven book. Oh yeah, Dom, did you get the Alt book?
I did, mate. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
got
so
it
you,
over here
you got the
somewhere.
7th edition one, did you? Or did you go 8?
Oh, no, it's 7th. There we go.
Which one did you go with? Yeah, 7th. There you go. 7th. So we got 7th Skaven, 7th Orc, and 7th something else.
I'll tell you what
Because
did
the
turn
8th
up though
edition book-
today, which I might actually get you into instead, which is really getting me interested, is this one. Oathmark.
Oath. What's it called?
Oathmark.
Yeah, I'm
Liam was
looking
talking
at some of
about
the
that.
minis. Yeah.
I'm really,
The minis
I'm
look
really
really
interested.
good.
I've been watching a couple of channels, people playing or just testing them out and what have you, because they're fairly new. I think they're about a month old or something like that. Done by
Yeah.
Osprey, and
Is it
they're
Osprey? Is it?
yeah, Osprey and North Star. There you go, Ken. That'll keep you
Okay.
happy.
Oh yeah. Hello, Paul.
Hello, baby, a dwarf.
Those Oathmark figures, especially the barbarians, Ian's picks them up for his Warlords of Erewhon army, and they look pretty tasty.
They do look really good, and they're a good price, to be honest. But what I really like the sound of these rules is that you can basically create your own kingdom. So, and they've got
Okay,
a
that's pretty
system
cool.
within it that you can basically you build your own history for the kingdom you're playing, and depending
Yeah.
on the territories around your kingdom, you can draw on them for different troop types. So if you wanted to play dwarf, for instance, like somebody I know
Yeah.
might want to play dwarf, you could say, well, they're on the edge of the mountains. There's a settlement of humans, so therefore you can
Yeah.
draw on certain troop types that the humans
even
have.
blaspheming elves. You could even have elves.
I wouldn't go that far, mate. I know just from my limited fantasy that's not going to happen. But you could have an orc army with dwarves in it, for instance, if you decided to.
Oh, okay, so like a mercenary sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's quite cool. Yeah,
So,
that's pretty cool.
And it's all laid out like that. So you, depending on how you've set your kingdom up, and of course that is perfect then for a campaign, because you could have certain territories taken off you in a campaign, which means you then can no longer use those particular types.
Well, you know what I'm like for going a bit above and beyond with things. That calls for a map design.
There you go.
That calls for a world campaign map, doesn't it?
There we go.
That sounds pretty cool.
So I've been quite impressed with them. I think they look quite interesting rules. And as Steve says,
if you've got any channels or anything like that you realise, give them a shout out during the video, because one, I'll look at them, and two, I'm sure other people may be interested. So, but Liam, there you go, mate. Bit of blast from the past for you.
Is that escape? That's escape.
Oh yeah, that's rat-a-ta-ta in there, mate.
Oh.
So this box is going from the Taskmaster to Liam. Liam, look, look at Games Workshop's instructions, mate. Beautiful instructions there.
Oh no, not on the side of the box.
Part of the box as well.
Oh.
So when was this box made? 2003. This box. So 17-year-old plastic sprue or new on sprue. Oh, you can't beat that, can you? New on sprue from 17 years ago.
I do apologise, Steve. You've walked into this fiasco that is Fantasyland gone crazy. I mean, just
this fantasy's taken over at the minute, isn't it? It's crazy.
Fantasy. Anyway, let's get a bit of semblance of reality here. Come on, let's get back to things. So, Steve, you're our honoured guest this week. Given the fact we've been trying to get you on here a few times. I think a lot of people. I came across your channel because you do some absolutely ridiculous conversion jobs, and the mini dioramas you do with your bases is incredible.
Yeah, you do nice dioramas.
And it's mainly German figures you do, but give us a little bit of a potted history about your wargaming and how you got into it, and your interests.
Started off early 90s with original 40k and Confrontation. That was a game that really got me into game was Confrontation, which it was a forerunner of Necromunda. It was given free in about 6 copies of White Dwarf in the 91, 92.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really start doing historical wargaming. I don't know, really. Probably with Bolt Action 6 years ago. I used to tend to have massive time away from the hobby and do other things. This is the longest recently that I've actually been back to it. So it was Bolt Action 2014 that really got me back into the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Is that first edition?
But I don't do much in the way of sort of sci-fi fantasy gaming anymore. It's mainly historicals, but I play Blood Bowl as well, because that's my all-time favorite game. So
yeah, I saw you talking about that on the channel on one of your videos. That's
it's
yeah.
I mean, it's taken me 3 years to paint 12 orcs. I'm not an orc painter. But since I'm probably the last 3 years. Since starting the channel, my productivity has just gone through the roof. I never used to be able to get anything painted or finished or completed or anything like that. And I just changed the way I painted overnight. And yeah, I just fly through stuff now. But I've got to the point where, with the bases and the conversion, the kit bashing, that's the main part of my hobby. That's what I enjoy doing.
Yeah, you were saying earlier that you're probably more of a modeler than a gamer. Is that right?
Yeah, I do have to play Bolt Action, but there's just no Bolt Action scene where I live. There just isn't. In fact, it's just me and Ian.
Shame.
I think we're the sole Bolt Action players in our entire town. It's mainly 40k around here.
So you game with a mate rather than going to a club or anything like that?
Yeah, I just didn't. I mean, for the most part on the channel, it's like 90% Bolt Action. That's just just what I enjoy. I mean, we are branching out into a few other historicals. What have we been doing? I don't think what else I've been working on recently. But those Pike and Shot from Warlord games. I've enjoyed working on them. They're quite good, actually.
They're good fun to do. They're not quite as involved as Napoleonics, excuse me, but they're a little bit harder work than Second World War. Second World War is relatively easy, just knock out reasonable standard figures pretty quick.
No, I painted those 14 French Napoleonics at the start of the year, and I can't see me going back. I really can't.
Painful, isn't it? It's painful. Very painful.
That was one of Ken's freebies. He managed to pick up somewhere a whole load of free Napoleonics, and then he had to paint them, and he regretted that straight away.
I thought they were going to be a piece. I thought they were going to be a piece of piss. I'm not going to lie. I thought, it can't be that hard.
Can't be that contrast.
Yeah, I'll use contrast. God knows what I'd have been like if I used normal paints. That'd have been even worse. Oh my God. It's not that they're horrible models to paint. It just takes ages.
The time it took me to paint 14, I probably could have got through, 2 boxes of bolt action figures.
I would agree. I would so agree with that. It took me like 3 days to paint like 20 models.
I'm just going to say,
that's
real men paint Napoleonics. That's all I'm going to say.
Real men cry over Napoleonics. Seriously, those models are just like. Do you know we were having that conversation last week about commissioning? I would generally think about commissioning Napoleonics. It's made up my mind to do. If I'm going to do Napoleonics, it'll be done in 6 mil.
that would probably make sense. That would make sense to me because those 14 absolutely slayed me. I felt physically
deflated, don't they?
Completing.
Yeah, they're deflated, don't they? Then you see people being able to knock out a regiment of like 20, 30 guys. I'm like, how the hell do you do that?
Do you know
what are you doing?
I genuinely find them not that difficult. I actually really enjoy doing them. I find they're more involved, that is for sure. But I think it's just what you get used to, right? So for me, Napoleonic paints, it's a production line process. I just work on, I'll do if I'm doing British, I'll just, do all the red coats in one go. Then I'll do all the breeches. Then I'll do, so I'll just do it bit by bit by bit. Yeah, it does. But, I think because I love the period and I love gaming it, whether it's Black Powder or what's the name? I was going to say Squad Leader, not that. Sharp Practice, that's the one. I love playing it, and so every time I knock out 8, I know that that's a group in Sharp Practice done, or 6 skirmishers. I know that's a group that I'm going to be able to use the next game I play. So
maybe that's what it is, because you've actually played it. You understand that is a goal to actually achieve something.
Yeah.
Like when I'm painting 20 guys, I don't know that that's like 1 battalion, or it could be a load of skirmishers. I don't know. I just compare it to a bolt action box where normally, you get your 30 models and that's a whole army, really. But with something like Black Powder, that's just like 1 battalion, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's how I always treat all my projects. Though I just think that, and I'd be interested to know about how you guys do it, and also the chat. Let us know. But I mean, to me, because I paint to get them on the table and to play with the damn things. It's generally I'll paint them in the way that I'm going to use them. So, if I'm doing a bolt action army, I'll do whatever my platoon is going to be. So I'll do that platoon of figures. That will be the, 10, 12, whatever it is, Russian 123 figures, that kind of stuff. And I'll just knock them all out as quickly as I can just to get that unit done. And then I know that next time I play, I've got that unit to go. Same with the Napoleonics. Same with, to a degree, things like the medievals and stuff. It's just like, right, I know that's a unit done, ticked off, move on to the next thing, whatever it's going to be. But that just keeps me going.
No, that's a good idea. It's a good idea, Dom. I'm doing the same thing with this project thing at the minute. It's like I'm doing it a unit at a time, and I can see progress, which is really nice. And I'm like, actually, I could actually play now. I don't need to do the rest of these models. I could have a game with it,
Yeah.
And it is nice to see a sense of achievement. Definitely, I think that encourages you to paint. Seeing a sense of achievement, whether that be because you're going to game with them, or just you know, like Steve, if you like the modelling side of things a bit more, you know, you can just appreciate looking at it and think that looks bloody nice, you know, and have fun while you're doing it as well. That always helps.
There is something to be said for that. Yeah, for that. Knowing you've got a set goal or a set target, and seeing that finished at the end. I think for me that's one of the best things when you finished a squad or a platoon or something. Sit back and go, I've done that. I actually use
awesome.
This is going to sound really tragic. I actually use an Excel spreadsheet to plan mine.
Oh my god,
That's not a bad shout, you know. You know, that's if you're going to do a big project. You know, I planned this project out I'm doing at the minute, but I never thought of Excel. That's quite a good
Done that
little
with
way to do it.
Stalingrad, didn't you, Ken?
Yeah,
You had it all
yeah,
on Excel and how to, what part you're going to do next and that.
yeah. Not for the models though. I never thought about that like for an army build. Just for some reason that never entered my mind. And plus, if you do it on Excel, you can save it, and then you've got it for the rest of your life to say, "How did I paint that bloody thing?" And then it's there, isn't it?
I've started doing that. I've started writing down recipes and formulas because I'm constantly forgetting how to paint things.
Yeah.
Old age.
You were saying about the YouTube channels sort of made you sort of increase your production as well. Like, I think there is something to be said about that. I think everyone should kind of use as a vlog sort of things to kind of document what you've done and your techniques, because sometimes, like you say, you have long periods of times away from the hobby, and I never write anything down. I'm terrible for it.
No.
So
Well,
to have something written down or
I've
video.
I've only started doing it the past year or so.
Yeah, I've watched some of my painting tutorials before. Like when I was doing my Africa core, I was like, "Shit, did I do those boots that color or did I do them that color?" Because they're so similar to the colors. I was like, "Which one is it?" So I've gone back and watched my video and be like, "Oh yeah, I done it like that. That's right."
Oh, I've done that myself
Weird,
a
isn't
few
it?
times. Yeah, I've looked back at them. I think because I'm hopeless. I never keep a record of anything I've done. So it's really sort of what color was that? And then but I have gone back and looked at some videos, which again is why I like doing them in batches, right? Because I know that if I'll finish this, like I'm
The
doing
whole
these,
thing will be
they'll all be
and
done
it's
the
all
same.
done to that same standard as well that
Exactly.
you've been painting. So
'Cause-
you haven't got a mixed standard, have you?
Precisely. I don't have to come back and rejig them and think, oh right, shit, what colour did I do that? And did I do that belt that way or did I do it that way? It's all
Yeah,
sort
did
of-
I do it that way or
Yeah.
did I dry brush it after? I can't remember, or
Yeah.
it's those things.
So-
But no, definitely.
But I
I've got
like the
someone in my
idea of
chat
keeping a
going,
record. That's interesting.
yeah, I've thought about doing it, but then every time I go to do it, I can't be bothered. But an Excel sheet where it's on a computer, that's not a bad shout. Because then you've got it. I know it sounds stupid, but now Microsoft's really cloud based, even if your hard drive fails, you got it backed up on the cloud, haven't you? So you've always got that record, which is quite a good little shout. To be fair, I should do that. I'm going to nick that idea, Steve. Thanks for that.
I wish I could say I would do that, but I'm so shambolically organised. There's no chance of happening.
He's going to write on a bit of paper now, and then
It's just not going to
Yeah,
happen.
do it later.
It's just
Yeah,
not
do it later.
going to happen.
Do it later, but yeah.
I
But
admire
I've
people
got
who are
someone in
that
my chat.
organised. Carry on, Ken. Sorry, you want to say?
No, I was going to say, I've got somebody in the chat who's asking, do you guys have any plans for a bolt action and tournament after lockdown? We spoke about that last week. We did indeed. It's kind well, not per se bolt action, have we? We haven't got a bolt
Or a
action
tournament.
plan. Or a tournament. But
yeah,
I don't know.
it's a good idea, though. It is a good idea.
I think we should
Yeah,
hold
that'd
a
be quite-
Stalingrad tournament on your pink bases. I think that would be the way
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah, that. I'll tell you what, a YouTuber like tournament would be quite cool. Just doing it live stream or even just getting everyone else involved, isn't it? That'd be like a nice little idea. It's something to definitely think about. But we are definitely, me and Liam, going to be playing a few games of bolt action when this is over.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Liam's craving a dice roll.
That's exactly what I'm looking forward to. I've not played bolt action since, or against another person since about January. It's been a long time.
I just don't care.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Any kind of physical board game or physical war game on the tabletop. I don't care what it is. I'm just can't wait to get rolling those dice and chucking some figures around.
No, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? So there's your answer, Chris. Thank you very much for the question. So we are thinking about it, and I'm sure something will get arranged at some point. We are doing like a live stream in August. I think then
24 hours.
24-hour ones.
Yeah.
So yes, but yeah. Should we
So
start some
Paul
questions,
says,
Dom?
I'm just going to run through
Oh,
some of
go
the comments in the,
Yeah,
in
you
the
got some
chat
comments.
here. So Paul says he thinks that GW models are harder than painting Napoleonics. Discuss. I don't know. I don't know
yeah.
about that. I've not done much
Depends where
GW,
you're talking.
Yeah.
He also says sharp practice is a great place to start if you're playing Napoleonics, because you can work towards a larger army, and that's kind of what we did at my club at Farnborough. We started all doing sharp practice because, you know, you could have a relatively small outlay to build an army, and then as you scale up, you can then start expanding, and then you can play Black Powder or what have you with all the same figures. But it suddenly
Is it a proper skirmishy game then, Dom? Is it?
It's small,
With
small group kind of combat rather than individual skirmish. So it's
Okay.
yeah.
That's kind of what I was hoping to do with the SPQR stuff, though, and then that didn't quite work out.
Well, I think the new infamy from Lardy's will enable you to do that. To be honest, Lee, and from what I saw he post Rich from Two Fat Lardy's posted on his Facebook page the other day that he keeps talking about the fact they're in the advanced stages of proofreading of it, and it should be out in probably the next couple of weeks. And they're going to do
I'm looking forward to getting them Romans back out.
I think that will be a real winner. I think that will give you exactly that. You'll be able to, because it's going to be similar sort of setup to Sharp. So you're probably talking, I don't know, 60 figures, 70 figures a side, something like that, which would be a good starting point if you're looking to get into Ancients. And then from there you can expand and maybe go and do Hell Caesar or Sword Point or whatever else you want to play. So I think it does exactly that. Avoid that rubbish that is SPQR. That's really bad.
At least I got some fairly cheap Romans.
You did get some fairly cheap Romans.
Leslie says he uses Word to list out colours and units, etc. Yeah, so it looks like you're not the only one, Steve, there. Culloden Painting Studios, hiya mate, how you doing? I've forgotten your name again, I'm so sorry. I'm bloody hopeless. I should write down the names and I'd remember them.
He can't even remember my channel name when
I deliberately do that now, so it really pisses you off. I always write down my painting schemes now. Vital when you return to certain units, and I needs to maintain consistency. Yeah, I mean, but he's a commission painter, so I guess that's even more important there. Seventh Son, he says, for me, Napoleonics is basically a production line, but I try to reward myself with a diorama like a command base. I can see that, yeah. Battle.
Yeah, that's a good shout, yeah.
A lot of people are using Excel and Word. Lee, he says he uses Excel for exactly the same reason. So, yeah, it's interesting, yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Sorry, carry on. I distracted everything. Lots of comments.
No, I was going to say, you want to do some questions? We've got some prepared today, haven't we?
Oh, go on then. Do you want to go straight in with the tricky one? How about that? And I sent around
just controversial.
Yeah. So when I always send Ken a couple of questions just to sort of say, you know, do you want any thoughts you want to add to this? And he generally just doesn't even read them, I don't think. But he must have read them this time because he came back and he said, "That's a bit controversial. Do you want to talk about that?" So yeah, let's give it a shot, shall we? So
here we go.
I am not going to
I'm not associated with Dom.
I'm not getting involved.
Disclaimers.
Oh my god, I love it. He's already jumping out, and I've only had a couple of sips of beer. No, right. Yeah. So seriously, this is. I'm not going to get involved in the whole. You know, the world has gone to shit. There's all sorts of crap going on in the news at the moment. Lots of. I'm not going to discuss exactly what has been going on, but lots of rewriting of history, or at least revaluing of history and stuff like that going on in the news at the moment. But I just wondered, does that, you know, do you feel comfortable wargaming all periods of history? You know,
yes.
Do you think things like, all right, finish
Ken's
that one
first box set.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, you know, you've got SS, you've got SS out there, you know, pretty nasty pieces of work. You've got some of the NKVD in Russia, some of the stuff they used to get up to. You know, the Japanese, what they used to get up to, that's just that period of history. You know, you start into some others. But is there anything that you wouldn't be comfortable gaming as a period?
No, I don't think so. Me personally.
No?
History's history, innit? You can't change history, you can only learn by it, and is what it is, isn't it? You can't do anything about it. You just it's part of the history, it's part of our hobby. So no, I wouldn't change anything. I play SS figures because SS were part of the Second World War.
Some of the Commonwealth
You know,
units as well, which
yeah,
they played a massive part in the war, didn't they? I would like to own them just to sort of have that little bit of history, that sort of thing. But then
yeah.
again, there is the darker side of that, isn't there, with some of the colonialism going in the Empire Age. But
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. You could say you could say the Empire Napoleonics with, with slave trading and things. You could say that period of history is a no-go. It's just like, when do you stop? We've learnt, like to think now in the 21st century, we've learned from these mistakes, or most of the majority of the population have learned from these mistakes that have happened in the past. We're not celebrating it or anything like that. We're just playing it because we're nerds and we like playing with plastic models and shooting things and doing that on a tabletop.
A couple of weeks back, I left a comment on Paul Becker's channel. It was about the likes and dislikes, and I said the only time I've ever felt really uncomfortable was recently when I made a video about those 10mm American Civil War I'm working on, and they're Confederates. And two of the bases have got the Confederate stars and bars flag on. And there's a lot of negative connotations obviously attached to that flag.
Yeah.
So I was in two minds about making that video because I thought, I don't want to be stepping into some kind of minefield here where people are going to think, I mean, they probably wouldn't, but they're going to think, well, why have you chosen that side? I'm like, well, because Ian's chosen the Union, so I've got to go to the Confederates. But yeah, it's probably the only time. I mean, I run SS in my German army. It doesn't bother me, but it was just that particular one, that specific one, was one that made me think. Just
because of the political landscape of everything that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, sorry.
Well, there was no negative comments.
No.
And hopefully people would know me that it's just a game. It's just I'm just doing something history. I don't have to attach myself to those politics or those viewpoints. It's just not me.
No. Well, it gets to the point. What do you not learn about that sort of thing in schools, or or do you not get taught about that sort of thing growing up? It's what we're meant. Everyone's just meant to forget about it. That it didn't happen, sort of thing. Of course, it happened. Everyone knows it happened. It was a horrible thing to happen. Anything. But it's the thing with any sort of history. They might look back on 100 years from now and look at us in the 21st century and go, "What the fucking hell were they all doing?" Like we look back at, say, slave trading and things like that, and think, "What were they thinking? Why the hell were they doing that?" And there might be things that we get looked at and think, "Why were they doing this? Why did they, why did they drop a nuclear bomb in the Second World War?" Do you know what I mean? It's hindsight, isn't it? A lot of it is hindsight. That's what you find with history. Everyone reflects on it differently, but I don't think it's going to stop me wargaming.
It's interesting, isn't it? So I mentioned before I play a bit of World of Tanks, the online computer game, and on that, they have all the major protagonists from Second World War up to almost modern, but so the Germans are in there, but they don't. None of the war tanks have a swastika on them, or any kind of German, identification in that sense. They have a very bland Weimarky type marking on them, and it's a deliberate policy because they're not allowed to show. If you're playing the game in Germany, you're not allowed to show a swastika and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and I sort of get that, but it always shocks me. You're driving around in a Tiger or something, and got Panzer IVs around you and what have you, but you can't have the right kind of emblems on them because it's deemed incorrect to do. And I kind of get that, but I'm with you. I mean, I just don't think history is history, and I don't think you can rewrite history just for the sake of it. No. But then there are some things I get slightly. It's funny, Steve. I wouldn't necessarily think of the Confederate thing, but you're quite right.
No, but
I would upset some people. No. I know.
I'd never think of it, to be honest with you.
It's interesting.
A really strange thing. I mean, the only reason I'm playing Confederates is because my mate Ian got to Union, so it stands to reason I've got.
That's a good enough reason, isn't it?
And I like them to look nice. I'm going to put some flags on there.
Yeah,
but it wasn't just until I made the video. I thought, is this going to be taken in the
right context?
It'd be a very, very small minority that would actually take that out of context. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm playing with model soldiers, for God's sake.
Well, I was going to say that's it. We're all playing toy soldiers, and we're
that's where I draw the line.
War, isn't it?
At the end of the day, I enjoy history. I enjoy painting and playing with soldiers. That's for me. That's where it ends.
Yeah, it's nothing political, is it? You know what I mean? That's the thing, isn't it? That's the big difference. In just because you put a flag on something doesn't make it political.
But have you ever had comments from people outside of the hobby, sort of questioning why you play, glorifying war? I know we talked about this a while back about one of the wargaming shows getting placarded by one of the protest groups, sort of because they thought it was some sort of war show, which in a way it was. But I have genuinely had comments from people, particularly through university and early sort of life, people are saying, it's a bit weird. Why do you want to glorify war? And that kind of stuff, which has always been my answer. Well, if anything, I think wargamers have a probably better understanding about the horrors of war than most normal people, inverted commas. So no, we're not glorifying it.
Yeah,
but it's just interests. But have you ever
thankfully, I've never experienced anything like that.
No, I haven't either.
Really,
I haven't. I probably would imagine you would if you go to university now. Definitely.
Yeah,
I could imagine that, for sure. But I've never had anyone say anything. They just call me a sad fucker, to be honest with you.
But then again, there's got to be something to be said about the fact that we kind of look into the histories and that, and my partner didn't know most of the stuff that I knew about the World War II sort of time, and we're watching films, and she'd be like, "Oh wow, did that really happen?" It's like, yeah, like that's why we're sitting here today, So in a way, we're keeping that part of history going in a way, and remembered,
That's what I mean. So should we forget the Holocaust took place? I don't think so. Everyone should know about that, the atrocities.
Yeah, but then there's also the rest of it, the things that aren't so, sort of
known about,
known, and it's still horrific,
Well, look at the Winter War, innit? Not a lot of people know about that war, the Winter War with the Finns and the Russia trying to just take their land and things like that.
Well, all the proxy wars, of all the Spanish civil wars and all that, test beds.
So I mean, it should never be forgotten.
But we're in an ideal position to teach people history. I mean, what's better than seeing a really good tabletop and a game and explaining them the background to what why this game was played, or the real background to it, and you've got that kind of visual element to it as well. So I think there's a positive in that to put across, why we do it, and build the history into it and demonstrate that to people.
Yeah, it's the same reason why there's so many reenactments of the Civil War in America, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's they're always doing reenactments. I see so many videos online and that, and they're always doing them reenactments. They love them. So that's a reason they're keeping their history alive, aren't they? As short as their history is.
I think I've recounted this story before, so apologies repeating it. But I remember many years ago going to, I can't remember which show it was, but one of the shows, and they had a big Arnhem game being fought out on the tabletop, and it was a beautiful game, really authentically done, and they spent a huge amount of time reproducing it and had all the different units and what have you involved in it, and it was fantastic. And I was standing with my mate watching it, and there was a little old bloke, really old guy, standing beside me, and I don't know what, got us chatting away, but it turned out he was actually at Arnhem, and he was looking at it, and I said, do you feel a bit uncomfortable seeing us playing toys over a battle you fought in? And he said absolutely not. He thought it was brilliant. It was great that people were remembering him and his buddies, and and I thought, it was kind of a bit odd, because it was, we were playing a game that he'd done.
He was actually
lived.
And he actually lived. And he said, well, actually, that building over there, I was there. I was in that building, and So it's extraordinary, but it was,
That's
you know,
it.
he was very positive about it, and I thought, but you know, clearly he was standing there watching it, and he'd gone to a wargaming show, so he obviously had some kind of interest in the hobby. But it was interesting, very interesting indeed.
If I have found though, you know, I've spoken to like on Facebook groups and throughout things, you get a lot of ex-soldiers that actually play,
Yeah,
you know,
very
toy
much so.
soldiers.
Yeah, several down at the
You
club.
know,
like,
Yeah, that's. Does anyone watch Little Wars TV?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good channel.
Because last year they did a game of Force on Force,
Yeah,
and it was set in the Battle of Fallujah.
Yeah.
A couple of the guys who were playing it had actually served in the American Army in Iraq, and they asked exactly the same question. Do you feel comfortable with gaming a period that's so close to where we are now? I mean, less than 20 years ago, and they were like, well, it's for us, it's just a war game, it's just a tabletop game. Yeah, we were there, but it's for us, it's a war game. I think that's an important thing to remember.
it's just a game.
It's funny, those are the periods that I have the least comfort with. So I don't know, I'll play pretty much anything, and I've never had particular issue with it. But the more modern they are, the more I feel slightly uncomfortable about it.
Okay.
You know, I would find it really odd to do a sort of counterinsurgents game in Afghanistan or Iraq or something.
There's some game systems out there for it though, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there are. And
I mean, like Force on Force and Spectre Ops.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I just wouldn't. I don't know. It's just a personal thing, and it's not particularly because I have an experience there, but although you know, I knew mates who fought out there. I don't know really. Maybe it's just I don't really like modern stuff more than anything else. But
yeah,
I don't know.
You don't like the rules for it.
Don, what's the most modern you would go up to?
That's interesting.
Cold War? You do Cold War?
No, sort of a what if kind of game. I would. Do you know, it's a really interesting question. I don't know that I've ever done anything beyond. I've done Korea. I don't think I've ever done any serious gaming in even Vietnam. Not because I don't particularly have any particular feeling about it, but I've never actually done it. I don't know. I think probably the furthest I've ever gone is Korea. In all honesty. And I'm trying to think, the only thing I think I would feel slightly uncomfortable with is exactly, as I say, the sort of really ultra-modern stuff. But then I wouldn't have an issue doing things like the first Gulf War or the sort of that kind of stuff. So it's really, there's no consistency, but I don't know.
What about the Falklands? What about the Falklands?
Now, the Falklands I would find quite tough to do because it was definitely in my formative years when that war happened. I was down in Portsmouth looking around just by chance the day then they were loading up the aircraft carriers to send them down, and sort of got chatting to people. So I don't know. That again, I'd feel a little bit. I'm fascinated by it, and I've read a lot about it, and I've
watched a lot of documentaries
on it and all that kind of stuff, and it's a fascinating period, fascinating war. But I don't know that I'd want to actually game it.
Yeah.
In all honesty. Yeah, that's probably the truth. No, I don't know that I would, to be honest.
Yeah.
For me, it's not the period, really. I mean, it was 40 years ago now, the Falklands. I don't know. I couldn't game that. I don't know what it is. Modern stuff I probably could. In fact, some of the Force on Force things looked pretty good, but with the Falklands, I don't know. Would it feel? I don't know. I don't know whether it would feel right for me to game that particular conflict.
I gather you guys are around for it, See, me and Liam, we weren't even born, were we, Liam? So,
no, I remember it. I was at school when it was really in its when it was really flying there, and and I remember all the, gotcha headlines in the Sun and all that kind of stuff. And I remember sort of almost having a school. I mean, it's quite disgraceful now you think about it, but we almost had a scorecard going at school of, the number of planes that had been shot down and what have you, which was all great until the point where the British ships started getting sunk and what have you, and British lives were being lost, and it wasn't quite so much of a game. And maybe that's why it sort of hits home now, as I think, well, no, I wouldn't want to play that, because I think as kids we were very sort of blasé, and it was all a bit of a game until the point where you realise that people are actually dying, and then it became oh my god, and because people not much older than me at the time were fighting and dying, and that was sort of a bit of a shock, and probably that's why I don't feel quite comfortable doing that one.
No,
of course, a real downer on it. Bloody hell.
Well, I've got a fun fact for you, a bit of history if you want it. The first ever ground-to-air kill with a Stinger missile was in the Falklands War, and it was done by an SAS trooper who picked up a Stinger because he was I think they were doing some training with it because they'd only just got them from the Americans. The Americans haven't even shot down Sonic at this point, and I think it's a Bukar aircraft come overhead. He pulled it, shot down the aircraft. The pilot ejected. But that was the first ever ground-to-air kill of a Stinger, and it was done by a Brit.
There was also in the run-up to the campaign, there was I think it might have been a Stinger.
SAS helicopter.
No, there was the one that was. Well, they did, but yeah, there was when the Argentinians arrived in South Georgia, and they arrived in a submarine. And apparently one of the Royal Marines launched a surface-to-air rocket at the submarine, which I thought was quite ballsy. Anyway.
He probably literally went, fuck it.
Yeah, he probably did.
Do you know what I mean?
He did, yeah.
Fuck it. I'm going for it. Why not? I'm not going to
possibly go wrong with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you know any kind of military people, you know that's exactly what they do, isn't it? Oh, fuck it. What could go wrong? Because they just like that. Paul says, don't look at history through modern eyes. There's monsters on every side. And I certainly wouldn't place forces... I wouldn't play certain forces. That's because of my granddad's stories in World War II and a bloke I knew who was at Arnhem. Yeah, fair point. Culloden says, I think historicals can be used as a way of showing people that really happened, especially how bad it was. There is glorification of the wrong lessons in certain circles of the hobby. Yeah, possibly true as well, mate. Leslie says, if anything, the more recent wars are well commemorated by us in gaming. History is history, gaming is gaming. Yeah. Lee says, can't change the past, but we can reshape our future. Yeah, it's true. And Peter makes a point. He says more people died on Napoleon than any other time in a conflict. But we all find that period interesting. I'm not sure it was more than any other period, but it was a lot.
I think it's because it's not it doesn't hit home,
Yeah.
Because obviously it's not so modern that we know that, it's a different sort of time, wasn't it? Georgian time, the Napoleonic time, how they dressed, how they behaved, technology.
Yeah.
You can link back Second and First World War to modern conflict because of firearms, guns. The modern rifle, still shoots a bullet to this day. I reckon if we moved on to laser weapons, you know what I mean, that would be seen as pretty primitive. It's just it's everyone's own opinion, isn't it? It's what everybody feels comfortable with gaming. I don't shove down people's throats there. I play SS and stuff like that. I play them because the rules in bolt action, they're my veteran squad, and that's the reason I play them. I don't play them because I idolize them or any shit like that. Just play it because of how the rules are and the history behind it.
I think the golden rule.
That's taking. Yeah, like I said before, that's all about not glorifying it. I mean, for you, taking them as a veteran unit is purely an in-game function. It's got nothing to do with their history. It's purely a tabletop thing.
Yeah, because you can have 2 LMGs with them and they're veteran.
Oh yes, 2 LMGs, yes.
And there comes the geek.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll get me started on medium machine guns in bolt action. I rant about that.
We've had this conversation several times.
So many times. Yeah, it needs to be changed.
What did we
It really
decide?
does.
Double pins and yes, I can't remember what we agreed, but yeah.
Instant kills.
Yeah.
Double
Why
pins.
that's never been errated, I don't know, but there we go.
That's
So
a discussion for another day.
I think that's that conversation over with.
I think we've
Shall
done
we
enough
leave
of
it
that.
there,
We
or-
escaped that one quite well. Yeah, I think that was all very serious for a minute there. So let's get frivolous, shall we? Kit bashing. I want to know about kit bashing.
Yes.
So, Steve,
There you
one of
go.
the reasons
Get
why I
John
wanted you to get in this chat was I
There you
wanted
go.
what? Hey,
He's just fucking using him. That's all you're
Just saying,
doing.
you broke
I
up there,
am.
mate.
well, there's no chance of me doing it because I'm shit. But I know Steve is fantastic at doing it. How do you, what do you do? What's the process you go when you're doing kit bashing? And, how do you visualize what you're going to accomplish when you set about? Or do you have a picture of what you're going to do? Or is it just kind of a bit?
Yeah. For the most part, before I start building something, I always, in my head, I know what I want the finished piece to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And then from there, it's just a case of, it'd be dead easy to just go out, grab all the pieces and put them together, and jobs are good and it's finished. I want it to look different, completely different from anything else that anyone else has got in their army or has built or painted before. And that's why I can go through so many different pieces just to get the right look. And I with pose is a big thing for me. It can really make or break a model. I mean, if you've got a really unrealistic pose, I always try and have a happy medium of action poses and just relaxed poses. So the last three sniper teams that I've made, they haven't been what I'd say in action or in battle. They've all been at kind of at ease or relaxing. And so I've always had that in mind when I make these things. I just want them to be a bit different to everyone else's. But yeah, I always have in my mind's eye what I want that to look like at the end. I mean, it sometimes doesn't work, but sometimes it does.
Yeah, what's the success failure kind of ratio for you?
It's probably about 80-20, I would suggest. But even the ones that failed, I do go back in, and I don't know if this is just me, but if you make something or paint something and it's not quite right and you have to go to bed, I'm not comfortable until I can.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just. Is that?
I'll say I'm going to bed, and then I'll walk past the room and I think, I'll just turn the light on. Then I'll sit down and just finish this off because I want it done. It's going to bug me.
I won't be able to sleep till it's finished. Yeah, that pisses me off. That's the next. Yeah, you have to come home. You're like, and especially if you take it to the point of, I can't recover this. It's strip the model and redo it. And it will drive me. Oh yeah, it just drive me nuts. Absolutely drive me nuts.
I'm so glad it's not just me.
No, it's not you, mate. I think you'll find a lot of the hobby community in general are like that.
Oh no, especially if you've really noused something up.
Yeah.
And it really does play in your mind. The last time I did that was I was painting an ogre for my Blood Bowl team, and I completely wrecked the head, the face, and it just looks shocking. And so then I was like, I just want to get home. I just want to get home and fix it because it was on my mind. I mean, I fixed it, but it was that whole having a really crappy looking miniature that I wasn't really happy with. But no, I'm really glad it's not just me that goes through that.
No.
Well, apparently according to Paul, it's your fault. He's got loads of kit bashing in his infamy force, and it's all your fault. There you go.
My fault. All right. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah,
No,
I must admit. Sorry,
it becomes like an addiction. It's like, I've made this. I mean, there's so many different sections in my German army that are kit bashed. So, Luftwaffe, Field Division, Gewehrjäger, Volksgrenadier, Volkssturm, Brandenburgers. Every single one of them is kit bashed. They're all in plastic, no metal miniatures, and it's just once you do one, you think, well, I can make something else now. So I've gone through the Armies of Germany book, and I think I've got virtually of the infantry and support weapons. I've got one of everything, but they're largely kit bashed as well.
Unbelievable.
So I don't know what point. When I did a video last year about when I actually finished it, and it was up to 4,500 points then. But I don't know what it's at now. It's got to be close to 6.5 now.
What, just infantry and support weapons?
No, the whole thing.
Oh, right.
I've got
Jesus, I was going to say that is a lot of infantry.
But I've got over. I think I've got 13 infantry sections.
Wow.
It sounds like my Russian project is supposed to be finished.
That was finished last year.
I've still got an SU to get, and then I've got to get the tank destroyers, all the other tank destroyers. Oh, it's just too much. I think, especially with Germans, I said to Ken the other day, if I'd started Germans, I don't think I'd ever end.
I don't think you ever can.
I'd have to have all of it.
It's impossible.
This is what I'm like. I mean, especially going through the Armies of Germany book, I always try and find something that I've not made. Because I've probably said this about a million times, but I'm not a fan of metal miniatures. I just don't like painting them. So if I buy a gun team or some other type of team, I always I just get rid of the crew and kit bash the crew from plastic miniatures because I don't like painting the metal. Yeah, I just don't like painting metal miniatures.
Fair enough.
It's weird.
See, I've gone the opposite. I used to love plastic, and now I really like metal.
I would give me a decent metal all the time. I have to say, every single time. But then I don't kit bash very much. Swapping heads is about as far as I go.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I might be brave to stick an arm on something.
I mean, what I like is that's why I really love Warlords plastics, because the kits are so interchangeable. The Germans and especially the US Marine box as well. The arms they fit the German kits as well. I even used heads from the plastic Marine box when I made my Volkssturm. I've used heads from there. I just got great German winter greatcoat bodies and stuck US Marine heads on them. Then you've got civilians.
Oh yeah, it's not a bad show, is it?
I did like your medic team, US Marine Corps medic team. That was really nice.
That was surprisingly simple to make. I was actually shocked at how easy that was.
Wasn't there a guy running, laying down? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the guy that's running. Yeah. All I did was just filed his back down a bit, so he kind of it looked like he was resting with one leg up. I thought that actually looks quite good. So I got one of those willow edge things that I used for the whole host of basing, propped them up against that, and casualty. It just seemed to work.
It did, yeah. It's pretty damn good. It makes me double think with the running guys, because they're always my first ones to use because I really want them. But I'm thinking maybe I'll keep some of them back for bits now in future.
I mean, I've got bits and pieces. What I also do as well, I mean, I don't like using green stuff, but sometimes you've got to.
Yeah.
But I've been using that a lot more, so I can add in cuffs to if you add an arm to a greatcoat and there's no cuff, I've been building up cuffs using greatcoats, using green stuff. I use green stuff to build a winter collar on my Major Koenig figure. I don't go over the top. I know my limitations, and I know when I'd be straying into, I'd be wrecking it rather than making it. I know when to stop.
Less is more. Yeah.
Yeah. So you must have a big bits box or multiple bits box of things that you keep everything that you're modelling just in case, or the bits left over.
I've got I think the funniest thing was one time I've got boxes of different stuff, and my girlfriend was like, "Why is there a box here with miscellaneous heads written on it?"
Heads.
That's my previous girlfriend. I was like,
"Yeah, that's my second hobby." I was going to have the conversation one day, but you found the box already.
Yeah. We need to.
But no, there's just bits and pieces all over the place. I actually do I do 40k kit bashing as well, but very, very few and far between. Because I love I love Grimdark. I love John Blanchitzi, and sometimes I mean that did. Any of you guys ever played the Inquisitor, the 54 mil game?
I've seen it.
No.
Their miniatures
Been
are
on
so
YouTube,
rare,
yeah.
aren't they?
Yes. Well, we tried to play. We were playing it in 28mm because it's essentially just a role playing game.
Yeah.
So I kit bash loads of weirdness. I was cutting up Death Court Krieg and putting Beastmen heads on them. It was just odd stuff like that. But I like that. Even though I've not played 40k in over 20 years, I still like the background, like the ethos, like the grimdark. So I'll still do a bit of kit bashing from 40k because I just like that really odd.
I think it was born out of necessity, wasn't it, in 40k? Like the early days when they used to release codexes and stuff where they would never have any intention, or they pretended they had an intention of releasing a miniature and they never did. So you kind of sometimes in some of the early editions, I remember, it was like you'd never actually find that. You had to build it yourself, which it's a shame, really. It's gone in some respects. It's quite
they only seem to put
I think
rules in for the stuff they use now.
Well, yeah, because they want to sell the miniatures, don't they, now? Whereas back in the day, it was like, the game was the thing.
Hobby. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
No, we're not going to start back on the GW bashing again. Yeah. Come on.
No, we're not. We're gonna try and stay on the second
one week.
War
we're not going to talk about it. I think it's a real skill, and I really impressed with. I watch some of the stuff you do, and I watch other people kit bashing stuff, and I just think, wow, it's just I just wish I had the ability to do. Well, the insight, I guess, is to look at it. I have started to collect a lot of the leftover bits and bobs from kits. So I just used to bin them when I finished putting together. what have you? I just bin them. Yeah, just because.
Yeah,
I don't need them anymore.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, Ken, with you.
No.
Surprised me with you, Dom. Sacred plastic. I've got the original, all of my original sprues. If I had the sprues, I used to break them down into little Tupperware boxes. I keep finding like Necron spares and stuff like that everywhere.
I did it the other day. I found some models I forgot I had. First time, because they were still on sprue. I've got 20 Imperial Guard up in the loft. I never knew that. I thought they were all gone. I've still got 20 of them. So if you want some Imperial Guard bits, Steve, to kit bash, by all means.
Yeah. I've actually got an Imperial Guard. I've actually got an Imperial Guard army. For reasons best known to no one, about 7 years ago, I just started building a Circadian Imperial Guard army, but I painted them using World War II German colours, so just field grey and grey. But again, I was converting, and I bought a Forge World expansion thing. I think I painted 3 squads, some heavy weapons, and some sentinels. But I just never got around to finish it. But those Cadians, God, they're older than God's dog. They really are.
Yeah.
I just sold all mine recently because I had a whole load that I never used.
I mean, I don't know whether they're going to re-release them or not, or retool them.
Yeah, they will at some point, won't they? That'll probably be a 9th ed. That'll probably be another thing Games Workshop take away and give back to you. No, we're getting on it again. Stop it.
Right, I'll stop mentioning 40k kit bashing. There we go to deal.
Yeah.
I've got to, don't I? I mean, I started in 40k. It is I still prefer, like you say, the lore of 40k, the grim dark side things. Just
it's great.
Always appeals.
It's great. I'm listening to The Last War at the minute, Liam. The first war, sorry. Yeah. Listen to that in the van. Story wise, you just can't beat it, and that's the problem. But you can beat the fucking game. That's
yeah,
bloody annoying. But I don't know. I've listened to a lot of audiobooks for World War II as well. I listened to Arnhem and stuff like that. That was bloody good audiobook. Especially for driving when I'm driving around all day. Really, really good. But kit bashing. I've done a little bit of kit bashing. I've done a little bit. And haven't delved into it massively. Look, I've got Sonic Kit bashed here. Oh no, I can't show you that.
God, he's
I
having
have got
another
Sonic
go.
Kit. I have got Sonic Kit bashed here.
Always the tease.
Oh no, I can't.
Always the tease.
But,
Oh dear, what a shocker.
but
I think after once I've finished painting this sniper team, I think the next thing I'm going to do. I did a video months ago about making a kit bashed veteran grenadier section.
Yeah.
Never got around to painting. They've been sat on my shelf for months, so I think I might finally get around to painting them. The only problem is I'm getting really low on Agrax Earthshade.
Oh no!
So I know.
Holy juice!
Liquid talent. It's diminishing, and it's one of those things I can't paint without it. I literally cannot paint without Agrax Earthshade.
It's a beautiful stuff, isn't it?
That and Nuln Oil.
Yeah.
Nuln Oil is one of those paints that
I use that and Athonian camo shade. I think that for me, for somebody who predominantly paints Germans, it's those two.
That
really
camo shade is really good for helmet covers. If you've got like different greens and you want to blend them in, that camo shade is fucking brilliant. Really is good.
When I painted my Australians, normally what I'd do, it would just be Russian uniform green and then followed by Agrax. With my Australians, I actually used the camo shade instead, and it made such a difference.
Yeah.
I didn't want them looking like my US Marines because that would have been the same recipe. But just changing the wash didn't half change the look really significantly. Yeah. And again, that's an old metal army that I painted, so it's quite rare for me.
Yeah.
It's something. I mean, I must be very naive. Maybe I am, but I've just started only fairly recently experimenting with doing multiple different shades in the same model. So bit of Nuln Oil on one place, and then another part of the equipment using something different, and then and I'd never done that before, and it suddenly became a whole thought. Oh my god! It suddenly adds something completely different to the model. These orcs I've been working on, I've been using. There's 3 different washes on the figure. One for the skin, one for the armor, and one for sort of darker bits. And I thought, why the hell didn't I do that before? Makes such a difference.
Yeah.
You're painting orcs and experimenting with washes. What's going on?
Well, I thought I might as well experiment with stuff I'm not bothered about.
For now, Dom. For now, he says that and he gets 20,000 points of orcs in 3 years.
Till he calls the warg for the first time.
Yeah, until I play with them, I realise how demon they are. Fantastic. Oh yeah. Miller says he started a German force just to be able to make the 88 and to make a Tiger. I think many people have done that, mate. I think absolutely it's not uncommon. We all rush out and go, "Where's my Tiger? Where's my 88?" And then you go, and then you play with them. You think, actually, the rest of the army's probably better in bolt action anyway.
Yes.
Cludden says he was a massive 54 Inquisitor player until a couple of years ago. Still has 50 plus figures in the loft. There you go, Steve. You got something to play against.
Blimey.
Miller
Inquisitor.
Oh, Miller says you 4 should make a challenge to kit bash something to show off for next Monday. No.
No.
Because Steve will win easily because actually he won't get it finished because he'll be such a perfectionist.
Or Steve is the judge. And he's
now maybe that's the way to do it. Yeah. Oh my god.
And we can just lie to him and say, This is kit bash. Yes, Steve. This is definitely kit bash, mate. Not the whole.
And it's important to note. It's important to note as well that my bribe level is really low. So yeah.
Do you know what? That's actually quite fun.
Sounds like you need a pot of Agrax Earthshade, mate. Let me just put it this way: I may have a solution for you.
It sounds like some dodgy dealer going on, doesn't it? Well, actually, we are. We're talking Ken, aren't we?
Yes, don't trust him.
Yeah, we're talking.
You got some Agrax. You got that Agrax crack.
Oh my god! Do you know that there might be something in that? I think trouble is, what is the definition of a kit bash? I mean, how
Changing the head.
yeah,
Changing the head.
exactly. That's the only
Kit bash,
problem.
isn't it? That is a kit bash.
I mean, for me, it's just combining multiple kits that I mean, that the sniper I'm working on at the moment. I did the video today. I mean, it's mostly, I can't even call it a kit bash really, because it's mostly US Marine. The only thing I've changed is one arm, so it's not really a kit bash per se. But some of the ones, like when I built the when was it, the Major Koenig figure? God, that was made up of so many different bits and pieces.
I
from so
love
many
that
different
figure.
kits.
I loved that.
Unbelievable.
I really wanted that figure. I was so that was such a good figure. Loved it. It looked like him as well. That was what you did such a good job with. Oh, that was great.
It's because when the Stalingrad book came out, I thought, right, Stalingrad snipers, and then I remembered Enemy at the Gates, and then I tried to forget Enemy at the Gates because it's such an awful film. But I remember what Koenig looked like in that. I said, no, I'm gonna build that. But again, with that, it was quite a simple, just combine a few kits. But you've got a figure that no one else has got. No one else will have that in their army. And
they'll ask you as well. They go, "Where'd you get that from, bud?"
But apart from that, no, it's kind of the uniqueness of it that I prefer.
Yeah, I'd love to think I could do it, and I probably got, but I just don't know that I'd actually know where to start.
Oh my fucking days! I was shaking the pot of paint and it's fucked up back there.
Yeah, plonker, Rodney.
Did the top come off?
No. See, that's
what you think.
No, I think.
Sorry,
I think what you said there, Don, about not knowing where to start. I think I am a very lazy modeler, but I also like to keep things really, really simple as well. And that for me is my mantra all the time. It's just keep it. If it gets to a point where I'm thinking this is going to go wrong spectacularly, I just stop. And it's, for me, it was just a good way, because I don't like metal miniatures.
Right.
Of building the units that I wanted. I mean, one of my favorite was building the Gebersjäger.
They were nice, yeah.
I was trying to work out, because they've all got rucksacks on. And I had a load of rucksacks from the US Marine plastic box that I didn't stick on my Marines. Just a case then of finding different pouches from all different kits and building up so you could hide what it looked like, but it made it look like they had rucksacks on.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the earliest ones. That I went through a phase late last year, just kept bashing everything I could find, and it just sort of stuck since then.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at it and I think, and I've literally in the last, I don't know, 6 months, no, probably not, 3 months, collected all the bits and bobs coming off the old sprues and put them into a box or into a tin, so they're all there to be used. But it's like, I'm now looking at them going, well, so what do I actually want to do with them? How would I actually approach it? How would I start with it? And I don't know. I mean, I love the idea. Miller's idea is all doing something and seeing what they come out like. But I'm just thinking, I actually don't know where I'd start with it. And I don't even know. Yeah. I mean,
an idea might be, look at an historical photograph of someone. And use that as kind of inspiration.
Yeah, I think that's probably very true. Oh, Leon's in the house. Hi, Leon. He just came in time to see you throwing your paint around. Very nice. Good stuff.
He hasn't even gone to pick it up.
No, he hasn't.
He's got another pot going.
I found another one, yeah. I do.
He's left it for the missus to pick it up. That's what it is. She goes round picking up all the stuff after him.
Yeah, all right. She's in charge, mate. I know that. Not that stupid.
Oh, dear. So, what else? Leslie says, a friend used to convert 110mm wrestling figures into Necromunda Black Library characters. That means nothing to me, mate, but I don't know.
That would work. That would definitely work.
Yeah. Wrestlers in Necromunda just sounds absolutely fine. I want to make the Rock into a Necromunda character.
Definitely sounds like a Goliath, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Speaking of Necromunda, has anyone tried to build any of the new Necromunda kits?
No, I've wanted to. It's brilliant models, aren't they? But they're all static pose, are they? Or
Oh, I built a Van Sar gang last year, just straight out the box. I've never swore so much in my entire life.
really? Wow.
They're so multi-part. I mean, so they've got separate heads, necks, torsos. The arms are in like 3 different pieces. It was like
Wow.
like 17 pieces per model. And I did this during the heat wave last year, and I thought it was just a bad time to choose to make models like that.
It's unlike
Yeah.
them because they seem to be going static pose with everything at the moment, don't they?
Yeah, they are, but the parts are all. Yeah, but all the parts are all broke down, aren't they? They're even smaller, so they can fit as much as they can on the sprue now.
Yeah, it's all
That's
about packing the sprue out. That's what it
That's the
seems.
problem.
was-
Your arm's no longer your arm. Your arm's half of your leg, your arm, and maybe a tiny bit of the torso.
I was actually shocked when I took the sprue out of the box how much they'd managed to cram onto one sprue. I was like, this is insane. There was barely any space left over. But I think Ian's got the Escher ones as well. They're exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to check them out at some point. Them and the Warspire miniatures.
It doesn't
Some
allow
of
you
them
to
are
kit
beautiful.
bash, does it? With those type of models.
Well, this is it.
Oh.
They fit so much on the sprue, and then they forget about all the little extras. I think they just kind of think, well, they've got plenty of multi-posing on it, so that'll do. But...
Yeah, it comes with the box came with instructions on how to put them together, and I was like, I don't like instructions. Don't tell me how to build things. I'd rather not do how you want me to build it. But no, these ones, yeah, you had to. I changed some of the weapons, but I've only painted 5 of them. The other 5 have been sat. It's got over nearly a year now since I painted them.
Talk about
But yeah,
instructions. Them
interesting
Skavens
kit.
I've got coming tomorrow with just literally a picture of it for instructions. Classic 2002 instruction
Hello.
manual.
Hello, Games Workshop.
Mind you, a Warlord, what was it? One of the Warlord kits didn't come with instructions. I think I got it second hand or something. And then I went on their website thinking, oh, maybe they'll have the printout of it. And it was just like the tiniest little picture.
Oh, some of
It was
their
one of the
Warlord
guns.
stuff is really hard, isn't it? I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Some of the
Their
guns, and the
their
mortars.
metal guns are a
Jesus.
fucking night, and the machine gun.
I think it was a ZIS3 gun, and they only had the instructions for like the winter one, the summer one, or something like that. And it was just like, you can't see where you're supposed to be putting things at all.
I'm trying to blow up the pictures to see where that, and I think, where does that little... And they've always got these little tiny wheels and things, and you think, well, I know that must be part of the elevation thing in this somewhere, but where does it actually fit? And I'm trying to blow up the bloody picture as big as it will go on my iPad, and it goes all blurry, and I can't see bloody anything, and it's like, oh, sod it, I'll just stick it there. And then some clever ass comes along the first game you're playing, so, yeah, lovely model, but you've got that wheel in the wrong place, and they go, fuck off. Yeah.
You should go, no, I kit bashed it like that, mate. That's how I've decided to do it.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, the German medium machine gun team, I've put together 3 of those,
Mm.
Oh,
and I've snapped the same part on all 3 models.
It's not the optics,
It's
tripod, is it?
Yes,
Yeah, it's so
it's
bendy.
that spin. Yeah, the front foot part. All 3 that I've done that are snapped off in the same place.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
I tell you what, the best machine guns I've found are the assault group ones. They're all one piece. The whole machine gun is just one piece, tripod and the machine gun.
That just sounds like common sense to me.
But
Yeah,
they're metal,
just
Steve. You
one
wouldn't like them.
piece. Yeah, it is metal, but the machine gun is perfect. It is good.
Oh, we got Paul Beckus in the house.
got-
Evening. Oh, good morning, mate. For you, it must be very early in the morning. For
Yeah,
you.
hello, Paul.
Morning, Paul.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I just some of those kits they just leave you high and dry, don't they? It's like, and I can't remember. I had one, I
They
think,
do.
from Warlords, and and I'm sure they had all the coding wrong because I started, for once I did actually follow the numbers and say, well, that should be number whatever, and then you go and find it on the sprue and it's not that one, and I'm going, that's not the same part at all. It's like, just trying to really catch me out. That's why I'm still trying to finish this Rubicon bloody swim wagon thing.
Oh God, yeah.
It's just like, fucking hell, I've forgotten how many bits there are in models. Jesus, I hate them.
Well, I did it with this SDKFZ 222, right? Originally, the original one I did I left the machine gun off of it because I thought you just put the autocannon on it. And the Rubicon's instructions are really good, and I still missed it. Somehow I still missed it. I don't know how. I just, I don't know.
Nightmare.
I don't know. Just me being stupid again, isn't it? Probably, but.
So we haven't talked about it so far, but you know what, boys? It was D-Day anniversary, 75th anniversary on Saturday, wasn't it? Have you ever done any D-Day games or any kind of sort of beach games or anything like that? Ever done anything like that?
Not yet, have we?
Yeah, we have him. Yeah, we played an American Beach Assault.
Yeah, no, you did, didn't you? I set that one out up when we went to Warlord that time.
No, we played a game, didn't we? Americans versus Germans. First time we used the 88.
Oh yeah, yeah,
we did. Yeah, we have had a game. No bunkers involved, kind of, but we did have a beach assault with the Americans and the Germans.
Wasn't that?
It was actually the D-Day campaign, but the old one, the Overlord one.
Yeah,
we did.
But we didn't have any assault craft, did we?
No,
to
we
get some of them.
Yeah, not more to do. But yeah, we have tried it. What about you, Dom? You done it?
I've done bits and bobs, yeah. I mean, I went up to Warlords last year when they did the D-Day book, and we played some games there that were sort of D-Day related, and I've done some, sort of smaller scales, skirmish games and what have you. I've never actually done a real big beach invasion game. Always fancied doing that. I mean, I've done them on computer games and stuff and what have you, but just a really big, like you've seen. Somebody did a brilliant video of one, and those nutters in Norway often do some games where they have, landing craft coming ashore with troops piling out. Not necessarily D-Day ones. I've seen some Japanese ones they've done like that, and it's I just love the idea of it, but I've never actually done it. And one day. Too many games.
I'm sure.
If you want to see a fantastic D-Day beach landing game, Lee. On his blog, he's I think it might have been last year when he did it, but I was absolutely blown away by it. It's the detail in that game. Just a breakdown of it was a game of bolt action. It was a beach assault.
Nice.
But yeah, you check out Lee's the Battle Bunker blog. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's beyond words how good that game was.
I hate Lee already because he has a perfectly good gaming room all of his own, and his missus and his son play games as well. So all through this lockout, they've been able to play games and it's like
the dream,
bastard. Oh, yeah.
Start looking at how.
You haven't got Imogen to play yet, then, Dom?
No, not yet. Although we have cleared some space to do it, so I think we're getting somewhere. But not the garage. That hasn't. No, not the garage. So you never know. Might be soon. Although she's just discovered some free open university course, so she's doing that. So bugger.
So it's not good enough, Dom. Tell her she's got to be a bit of a rebel sometimes.
Yeah, I think don't know. Yeah, Becca says he's played a few Pacific-based beach landing games. Great fun, yeah. Oh, and he's having cold Chinese for breakfast. Good for him. Best thing.
Jammy.
Oh,
I'd like some cold Chinese now. I can't even have it.
You can't beat a good cold Chinese, can you?
Cold chicken ball, mate.
Did you think there wasn't an awful lot? I know the whole COVID situation has put a kibosh on everything, but I didn't think there was an awful lot over the weekend on the telly or stuff. I was expecting a whole weekend full of, old films and kind of stuff. And
it's all about the COVID, isn't it? TV's like that, isn't it? It's reactive television.
such a shame. I was so looking forward to it. I went hunting for the longest day just so I could read something or watch something. In the end, I think I ended up watching Bridge Too Far or something instead. But I was really disappointed. I thought there'd be loads of stuff, and I guess I feel sorry for the old veterans and whatnot. Didn't get a chance to go out to the beaches because there's not many of them left, and probably won't be any more left soon enough anyway. Yeah.
No.
Leslie said he did a D-Day landing game last year for the 75th. He had a lot of veterans, reenactors, even some Germans dressed American airborne. Oh, okay. And Paul played a massive D-Day game using rapid fire on a 20 by 8 foot table. Epic.
Jesus.
20 by 8. I love that. That is fantastic.
That's a
the
big
sort
table.
of game you want to play,
game.
right? That's a proper game. It's like did you see all that footage from the Napoleonic game they did last year up in they refought Waterloo with 28mm.
Yeah.
Was it Stirling? I think they did it somewhere like that. I thought, oh, that's just so good.
Yeah, the uni, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Did it one of the unis?
That's just so brilliant. I love those big games. I just love them. Just the chance to play them is just awesome. Just awesome. How does that bit go?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah. Oh my God! What are
Not
you
at the
doing?
minute.
What are you doing there?
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. I can see it being a couple of weeks away. End of the month. Ratatata, eh, Liam?
Yeah. All right. I see it now.
Yeah, well, this is why I'm concentrating so much, because I know I've got 20 more rats coming tomorrow. Thanks, Taskmaster. Got me on.
Oh dear.
I was all relaxed about it until I got on stream, and I was like, oh no, 20 rats.
Jesus.
All I think about is that Lord of the Rings image of the Taskmaster with his whip cracking. That's all I think about. That's literally it. Just imagine me as that image, Liam. Really. One of Dom's orcs.
Oh Jesus. Oh my God. Yeah, I think Becca says COVID is yesterday's news. It's all about BLM. Yeah, we're not going to start on that one. We hinted.
No, we're not.
Got on the edge of that one,
no.
and we're not going any closer. Thank you very much. Don't need any of you Aussies coming around here stirring trouble. Miller says I think a taking of the guns game from the Band of Brothers would be a good game with trenches and using the guns.
Oh yeah. The 155 howitzers or the 105 howitzers.
Yeah. That would be fun,
oh
wouldn't it?
fuck. Yeah, what farm is that? Burcott Manor. That's it.
Yeah, there we go. He's been reading
Manor,
his history. He knows. Yeah.
See, a normal person wouldn't know that.
Only an old war gamer.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Someone that's watched the Band of Brothers series about 30 times as well.
Hiya, Sam. Sam in the house. Not seen you before. Thanks very much for coming on. And he has 20 raccoons in his backyard. Really? Bloody hell.
20
raccoons. I'm guessing you're in America or somewhere, because that's unusual in this side of the water. Jesus, 20 raccoons. They go through your bins and everything, don't they? Like massive rats. Duncan says, if you've not seen it, look for the D-Day landing set for Memoir 44. All set up. 6 large boards arranged to cover all the beach landings. Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen that somewhere in a board gaming community I'm on Facebook, I think. It's pretty
Memoir
impressive.
44.
Yeah, it's a board game, but they've
an American on the front, isn't there? GI, like cartoons.
Yeah, but there's a D-Day beach landing one which is huge. Apparently, I've seen a few pictures of it before. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I've very much got into strategy board games this week as well, which is not a good thing.
You got into board games totally, didn't you? I've had a bit of an influence on you, I think.
Yeah, Jesus. Git.
another hobby.
That's another way to spend a load of money, that is.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the World War II ones. You know, the hexagonal systems, where you got the whole map and that, like you got the map of Normandy and France and you're moving units around and stuff. I'm interested in that. Bit like that game you're telling me about, Dom. Whatever it's called, that Normandy game you were really banging on about.
The Longest Day game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I do like grand strategy games in board games. I think they're really good fun to play. I really like those big scale games.
Yeah.
But you
Lord of the
need a lot
Rings.
of space and you need a lot of time to play them properly, don't you? Because otherwise, by the time you got the damn thing set up, you virtually have to take it down, and you just want to keep it.
You want a dedicated sort of room for it, you know.
Yeah, you do.
But like in my new house, it's going to be my, my man shed, or not
You
man.
got money to do on house, Ken. You got minis to buy.
Yeah,
No, I'm gonna have a man. Whatchamacallit, summer house. It's already been agreed. I can have a man summer house.
Ooh.
So basically, I need to find the biggest house with the biggest garden.
So you move out and she moves you out. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
She's not dumb, is she? She knows. So good on her.
Mate, I'll tell you what, my missus is the smartest person.
Here's a question for everybody. What part, is there any specific part of painting a miniature that you dread?
Ooh,
That's an interesting one.
that is a good question.
Eyeballs.
I'm currently painting flesh on these two Marines, and I hate painting flesh. I just absolutely, it's a chore. Once it's out of the way, I can start enjoying the miniature. But is there any what part of miniatures do you think? Oh no, I really don't want to do that.
Flesh is definitely one for me. I totally agree with that, especially with these rats. The flesh to fur. That for me, the blend. But then it's been a lot easier because I've tried out airbrushing them with these on, so I've enjoyed it a bit more. Normally, I dread it, like you say.
I just
blend in.
Just don't like it. Once it's out of the way, I'm like, right, that's the awful part. I can fly through the rest of the miniature now.
Yeah.
But actually just painting the flesh on, it's just not enjoyable. It just annoys me.
No. Mine is definitely faces, because I found, well, it's not too bad now because I've thinned my paints, but when I used to not thin my paints properly, you used to lose all the detail in it, not know where to put. So like if you just put a bit of Bugman's and like a shade on it, I don't like how it comes out. I've now got to go in with like a flesh tone after and do a layer in there. But it's probably going to be faces. I don't like doing hair either. Hair I think's boring. Hair is very boring to do.
All my Germans have got blonde hair because it's when I'm painting the gaiters, I use German camo beige. So that also doubles up as hair colour as well.
Chuck on them, yeah. I've done that before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's quite often the case. Whatever you got that pot open, you think, I'll just do some hair while I'm here. Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know that there's anything. I'm trying to think. There's anything I dread doing. I don't think there is. I think I don't do eyeballs very often, but whenever I tried, I dread it because I always screw it up. So that always is a bit of dread because I think, no, I'm not going to do eyeballs, and then I go, you know what? That's quite pronounced, that eyeball. Maybe I could just get away with it. And no, shouldn't have done that.
Blob.
Yeah, and then you have to repaint.
Got better eyes.
But
I've got better eyes.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say there's an awful lot I dislike. There's certain things on different models, so I'll be painting something and I just hate. And then because I'm doing the batch, I know I've got another 20 to do. Then I'm dreading it and thinking, oh shit, I've got to do that, whatever it is. But it's not usually consistent, I don't think. I can't think of anything.
No, I've gone off a painting style. Which is really ironic at the minute. I'm not enjoying batch painting.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying doing like loads of different miniatures. So like if I do one specific model in a specific period, then if I just next model is in a different period altogether. But at the minute I'm doing a lot of batch painting. It's kind of put me off of it. But I know to get my goal, I need to do it.
Yeah.
I've got no real choice.
Well, that's the thing. If you've got an aim to achieve, Leon says anything to do with cavalry. Yeah. Yeah.
Contrast paints help a lot with
and
that.
cross belts
Contrast
he hates doing as well. Yeah, white belts there seems to be a consensus, and webbing seems to be a consensus from people.
I don't mind. don't mind webbing. I don't mind webbing. I'm not too bad with webbing. Depends what colour it is. If it's a very just off shade of their uniform, it's bloody annoying having to go back over and do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought another one. Camouflage.
Ah, now that's
I
true.
don't-
Yeah, camo. Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, definitely.
I don't mind a bit of camo. I'm really weird. I
You
quite
are.
like it. I do not mind painting camo. I find it a challenge, and I am so happy when I've done it because I think I can done that. I've got you, especially the splint, like the oak tree camo on my SS. Oh my god, that technique! I've got that down to a T now. Absolute T.
Yeah, the P that I do on my SS, I've got that down. I can do that relatively quickly and once you put the washes on it, it looks okay. But when I was painting some Zelt barns the other week, until the wash went on, they look absolute arse. They look so bad. It was unbelievable.
Doesn't tone it together or anything, does it? It's
Like-
and then the watch goes on and it just brings it all into one, and it makes
Like
such a difference.
I know. But yeah, it's another one for me. So it's flesh and camouflage. Oh, and horses.
Horses, yeah.
But
Definitely horses.
I don't mind the horses so much now. I use a lot of contrast paint on them, I have to say. Well, the video I
No,
put up
contrast
today, I put a whole
Makes
load
a
of
hell of a
horses up.
difference.
And I don't mind them at all. I've changed my view on horses, which I'm really pleased about because I like playing with horses in most games. So, not playing as horses,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Not in the Billy. No, it's not.
That's the ultimate thing. We all love having a bitch about doing our hobby, but we do it because we love it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just even funnier when you think about it.
Oh, no.
We all like, oh, I don't like doing this, we don't like doing that, but we do it because we do enjoy it, and it is.
I'm
fun.
surprised nobody said basing, because I know quite a few
Oh, I
people
love
who
basing.
dread.
It's cool.
I love basing figures. It's like
Oh, so good, isn't it? So good.
Do you know, I don't. I think because now I just cheat and use Luke's APS all the time for my basing. So
It's so good, isn't it?
I just don't find it a problem. I just like bish bosh, and also because it's the end of the project, it's the last thing I do.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
that's the thing I think.
And
it
it's
is.
like,
so
well,
sad.
it's done, and it's
It's
like
the goal line, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've
it's
finish line.
Oh, great!
You've
I'm
done it.
finished, and I'm ready to then rock and roll, and that's that. Yeah, the basing just I actually quite like it, and I've also quite enjoyed now something in the last probably since the lockdown more than anything else started to put a little bit of diorama. It must be your effect, Steve. But a little bit of extra stuff on the bases, or particularly on
Ooh,
the
talking
on the
about
heavy
extra
weapons.
stuff.
That sort
Got
of
some
thing.
bricks. I got a bag of bricks
Ah,
today.
there you
Let's chuck on a few of my
Perfect.
all the way from America.
Gambo.
No hobby shops open, are they?
No, not for another week. No.
Sorry, I was excited that it took a month to get to me.
They must have wondered what that
yeah, I
customs
like
might have
basing.
gone. What the
Basing's
hell
great.
is that coming through in this packet? It's a little sort of strange substance. Very weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said they're bricks. They're quite obviously bricks. Come on.
You could make one if you got props on.
I did my SAS Desert Raiders, the basing I did on them. That was I always wanted to do basing like that, so I could completely, over the top and a bit probably impractical for tabletop gaming. But I think the overall, I think I did 18, 24. It was 26 of them, all individual cork bases. I think it worked. It was a bit time consuming, but I did like the effect.
Yeah.
I love basing.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I never used to, but I tell you what, I love it now.
See, I got that thing of putting them away as well. I don't put the binny into the storage or into a display cabinet until that base is on there. So it's like I get excited about it. It's sad.
That's the finale, isn't it?
For me, that's the end. You can sit back and go, all finished. That is when the basing is
next?
done.
Yeah, and reach for the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
Shit, there's that pile of shame.
That show
Yeah.
just
More
isn't going
Germans.
down. Paul
Yeah,
says,
more Germans.
more Germans. Paul says
More
lace.
Germans.
7-year war British drummers. Excellent, and about 15 exclamation marks. So I'm assuming that was not good. good experience. I can imagine that period.
Now he said drummers. I remember painting those Napoleonic drums, and I wanted to shoot myself while I was doing it. Because you'd see the string of the rope there, and you go, "Oh, I can just go over that lightly," and then bang, straight on the red. You go back over it all, because otherwise you're gonna have one section that's gonna have one brighter red bit than the rest, and it's like OCD kicks in, and I'm like, no, they will all be uniform and they will all be the same. Oh my god, yeah.
Love it. I absolutely love it.
Painting the drummers on me on the 10mm ACW. That was interesting.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Did you say you went 10mm with it? Because I'm thinking of going 6mm ACW. You know, I've looked into it.
I keep wanting. The last time I did 6mm was in about 2006. My mate got this rule book. I am not joking. This Napoleonic rule book was about 300 pages long.
Wow.
And we both went out and bought huge, great big 6mm armies from Bacchus.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I painted. I think I painted about 24 stands. And I said to him, "I can't do this anymore. My eyes hurt."
Right.
And so I've not tried 6mm since then. But I've been looking at 6mm Punic Wars, so Carthaginians and Romans, and I think that might be happening. I don't know why though.
No, do you know what? I think 6mm a great one if you want to try a period out and the rule and like some rules, but you don't want to overinvest in it. Like 28mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to try that, that rule set that's like biblical or something that's very rarely played, perfect, because you get your little flavour of it, you get a little taste of it, but you haven't got to fork out for 28mm figures.
Also, the space thing's a big thing with those small scale, isn't it? I mean, you only need a very small space. You don't need a big 6 foot.
Some of them you play a 6x4 still.
Really?
And that's not a joke.
Jeez.
Yeah. Because you could play for like, the battalion units. You make up of like, instead of having just a stand cast in a battalion, you might have 20 stands for a battalion. But it all depends on the rule set, really. But 6mm, I definitely doing. I do like a bit of 6mm as.
Ideally, you'd want 3x3 or 4x4. 6x4 just sounds a bit.
Yeah.
A bit too large.
But if you want to play a big battle, you can do it.
The only time I've seen that sort of size games with those sort of size figures has been like a modern game when the ranges are ridiculous, and then you got helicopters and airstrikes and stuff coming in on it, and that worked quite well on that sort of scale. Not that I played it, but just watching people play at one of my past clubs, and that was kind of good. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's a sad sight.
Oh my god!
I'm almost out of Agrax. I overestimated how much I had. Hopefully, I've got a backup pot from the Conquest magazine.
There's two pots of Conquest Agrax.
There's got to be somewhere.
Yeah. Have you emptied your Conquest mags yet?
Oh yeah. I've gone through all them. I've got to have a pot somewhere. But yeah, that was a scary moment.
Agrax left. 1 centimetre. That's.
Oh,
can I imagine if I knock that over?
Oh, God.
I did that the other day. It got caught on camera as well.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, got
only a little bit top up.
It's the most soul destroying thing when a pot of that goes all over the floor, or a contrast paint as well, which is like so flipping expensive. You're not one of those over. It's like, oh no, and they're so hard to get new ones at the moment. Oh well. So another question: how much time we got left? Oh, we only got 10 minutes, haven't we?
No way.
Yeah, I know. Time flies when you're
Sure.
talking bullshit. Something Fraser said on Von Kettering on his channel the other day, which got me interested, and I thought I must ask you guys because I thought it was a good topic for us to discuss. He was talking about, it was in the likes and dislikes reply video for Johnny that he put together, and he was talking about hobby burnout and talking about needing to take a break at times to recharge his batteries before keep his mojo. And I
Done a
thought,
video on that.
I never, ever, ever. Have you really? Never saw that one.
Yeah.
I've never,
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
had that problem. Never, ever.
Yeah.
Ken certainly hasn't.
No, I did the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played some PC games.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Yeah,
and
yours is
normally
like a
it's normally
day.
2 or 3 days, and it's normally after I've done something that I didn't enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So if I made a unit or something, I thought didn't enjoy that, and it sullies anything else, because if I have to sit straight back down and do something else, I wouldn't enjoy it. So it tends to kill any inspiration. So I'll just take 2 or 3 days away from the desk, but I'll be reading during that time as well and looking at army books, because I know I'll be back. But no, burnout. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
I don't say I wouldn't don't take breaks from painting. I don't, some days I paint most days. But there will be this past weekend I didn't paint that much at all, and there'll be a few days go by where I won't paint, but that's not because I need particularly worn out of it. I just got other things to do. Life takes over, and I want to do some other stuff. But I think because I try and have, seen the channel, I do so many different periods and so many different armies and so many different things. It sort of keeps the bit of variety, which I think is a huge thing for me. It's just constant. If I was always doing just one thing all the time, I'd be bored, and that might cause me to want to take a breather from the hobby for a while. But generally, no. It actually shocked me almost not shocked me, but it kind of made me think. Hang on, am I just a bit odd? I don't really feel that way. Am I that obsessed?
I think the longest I went without doing a hobby was about 2 weeks. That's probably about the longest for me in the last couple of years since I started. But I don't know. I don't think it makes you obsessed. Like I say, I paint most nights. Enough every night I paint.
I paint. Yeah, I paint more. I mean, the other week my girlfriend said to me, "Don't you ever get bored painting?" And I was like,
my
no,
missus says that to me all the time.
Because
how can you
for
sit
me,
there?
I'd sit down, stick some metal on, and just paint for hours. And it's just a nice. It's kind of me time. It's escape time.
Yeah.
Especially in the real world.
So burnout only normally comes if I've done something that I've just not enjoyed painting. When I painted those blood red sky Messerschmitts, oh god,
I painted those. I've painted those. I know where you're coming from.
Oh my god, I put the decals on. I painted 5 at a time, and each plane has got about 17 decals on each one.
Yeah,
and I remember finishing it and just walking into the living room and going, "What the bloody hell have I just put myself through?"
Yeah.
It was pain, absolute pain.
I painted all those in a day because we wanted a game of it in the evening. Do you remember, Liam?
Yeah, you can't play with non-painted models.
Nah, I hate
the rules.
Painted models.
Obsessed.
Used to play with non-painted models, not anymore. Not since we joined the big boy club.
When I used to play 40k, there was a guy in our gaming group, we used to call him Tin Boy.
I've already told the lads they're not playing on my Stalingrad board with unpainted models, so they better get painted if they want to play on it.
Yeah, no chance of that happening. No,
Task
I'm the
Master
same.
awake again.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've done it! I've painted the whole unit.
Oh, I thought you were about to say you managed to open a paint bottle without throwing it across the wall.
I've done that Regiment of Renown. I've done it. The models that got sent to me.
Oh yeah, they're finished, are they?
Yeah, they are done. I've done it. Oh, yes.
Video incoming.
Oh god, here we go.
Show you on. There you go. You might.
Nice.
They are done.
Nice.
They are done.
Didn't you get 10 of them? I thought you got 10 of them.
I didn't get 10. I got these 5 of the regiment, and then I've got 2. Like one's a lord, and one's a character. But I've done the regiment. The regiment is done.
Nice.
And they're the ones that were sent to me through One of Dom's subscribers.
Nicking one of my subscribers' giveaways. Bloody hell, you bastard. Anyway, we won't talk about that. Oh dear. Paul says he had over the last week. He had a bit of burnout over the last week. Needed a break. Chilled out and read a book. That's always a good thing. Yeah, I must admit. And the nice. I think the nice weather. I know a lot of people I have gamed with and game with on a regular basis, and during the summer they don't paint, and they don't game an awful lot. It's only really a winter thing for them because they got better things to do. Go out in the garden, go and play whatever.
It's whatever floats
some
everyone's
sport or
boat, so
what
I
have
don't
you.
really enjoy anything else.
It should not be a chore, whatever it is, should it? I mean, if it becomes a chore, it's like anything. If it becomes a chore, then don't do it. When the fun stops, stop, as they say. Someone
The thing with the hot weather, I'm from the north. When I go outside and it's warm, I burn. We're not used to sunshine up here, so I generally tend to stay indoors.
Becca says, I only paint for 2.5 days a week. Got to do the house stuff and spend time with the family. Yeah, and that's important. You've got to spend time with the family. I try and avoid my family. It's the best thing, really. It's true. And there are other priorities, right? And you can get very obsessed in anything you do. Leslie says, like Dom, I try to do my hobby most days. Yeah, and I think, I do some degree. I'll read some books. I'll read some rules. Even if I'm out in the garden having a chill out time, I'll probably have something on the Audible or a book or a magazine, and I'm reading that or thinking about my next project. Yeah,
definitely
something else. But I generally always will be doing some kind of gaming of some sort, or at least thinking through. Even when I stopped playing for a long period, I was still thinking about it, and I still, thinking about what I'd do and what periods I might play. But just, I think it's just one of those all-encompassing things. I think I told this story as well because
officially a happy chat. These the flesh on these Marines are done. Woohoo!
Yay! Well done. I've just about finished another 8 orcs. There you go.
Done another 8, have you?
Just about. Just put some wash on them.
The Skaven are pretty much done, apart from the warp flame.
Each you're going to airbrush, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe.
That's great because you've got a box of 20 for next week.
And I've got to build them apparently.
And scrape the mould lines off.
You'll give me 2 weeks for that. In fact, I must admit, because these ones are pre-built, and I guess was it the person who?
Yeah.
So there was quite a lot of mould lines on these.
You can have 2 weeks to do that 20.
Oh, thanks, sir.
Right.
I think he's forgetting who the director is here.
Yeah. Love it. You too. Bloody hell.
I'm bloody happy that these are done because obviously these are very important figures to me because they were sent to me for free by Sean. Thank you very much, Sean. I hope I have painted these up just because these apparently were never going to get any paint on them, so I am extremely happy. Extremely happy.
Well, we'll wait for the video.
That's my first completed fantasy regiment. That is my first completed fantasy regiment.
Nice.
I'm over the moon with that.
Good job, as they say.
Oh yes.
I've got to take a break from these orcs.
No one in chat probably even cares because they're probably like, fucking Warhammer again. What are they going on about?
These bloody Warhammer.
We come here for some ancients.
And Leslie says, you haven't done the Starling. You haven't finished painting the Starling mount boards yet, have you? So you shouldn't be doing anything.
No, I haven't.
There you go.
Good old lockdown. I need some railway track.
And Paul says he's got his last
definitely
group
find
of
that somewhere
to do.
online.
Nice. Is that your last
Shut
group?
up, Liam.
Full stop.
I'll order you some.
Wow.
I'll order you some Playmobil track.
No, I want to support a local hobby shop when it opens.
I thought your hobby shop was doing mail, drop-in thingy.
Yeah, no. That's one of them. There's the other one that's like the train shop.
Oh right, okay.
So we want to support that one when he opens because it's right by Liam's house.
So you can drop off some more Skaven for me. Great.
Exactly.
Taskmaster at work.
Well, at least we'll have an arm. At least we'll have an armies to play with. So Won't be able to moan about that.
Ones I never wanted to play.
Oh,
To be fair, there's a lot that I didn't want to play, but I am actually quite. Yeah, now I've painted these, I'm quite.
do you want me to bring that army book over for you tomorrow as well? You can have a flick through.
Yeah, go on and I'll have a little read.
Why not? Exactly. But yeah, no, everything's good. What about you, Steve? What have you managed to get those flesh done? How many have you done?
So it's a sniper team.
Yep.
I've done the base.
Yep.
In fact, you can maybe see the base. That's the base for a sniper team.
Ooh, very nice.
So it's a bit over the top. But I've done the base. I just need to add some jungle embellishments to it. But I'll be able to paint these marines up in about an hour tomorrow. I can fly through marines. I've got the painting down to a T, and then that'll be it. So actually, a rather productive evening getting this base done. Because I only built these today. So yeah, I've made a very good start on them.
Well, that's good. Happy days.
Nice.
Can't moan about that.
Kushti.
What you got those 8 done, haven't you, Dom?
Yeah, I've done
Near
them.
enough
They're
done.
pretty much done. Just put a wash on them. So they're pretty. Yeah, you won't be able to see that, but it's pretty much done. So I've just got to do the basing. There's a little bit of white I need to touch up in a couple of places and varnish them and then dry brush them, and that'll be them done. So that'll be 14 of the ones with the double-handed axes done. Another 6 to go, and that'll be that 20 that were in the box. I've made up the models for the other 20 single-handed axemen. So I don't know whether I'll do them straight away. I want to get going on my infamy army. I've got back here. Here's some I bought earlier. No, these aren't just bought. This is my infamy army. This is going to be
From garage.
Yeah, well, some of them are from the garage. I have to say, I did buy a couple of character blocks and some. These are women because apparently they're as functioning there. But there's some Victrix Germanic warriors there, ready to go. That's going to be my first infamy army. I noticed Paul said he's just about finished his auxiliaries for his Romans, so yeah, it's all good.
Oh, nice.
That'll be good. So that's what I want to do. So I might just do one of those and then move back onto the orcs.
Yeah. Just quickly, if anyone else wants to take part in these chats, the more the merrier. You just got to contact me on Facebook. Just come to the Miniature Wargaming Warriors Facebook page. You can find links to it in any of my videos, and just send me a personal message on there or contact Dom.
Yep.
And get involved. Definitely. You planning on coming back next week, Steve?
And now I've managed to. And I'm really not quite sure what happened with the technology. Why did it just work tonight? It's very strange. But yeah, definitely back next week. Yep. Aye.
Fantastic. You back next week? Or are you busy?
Oh, I've checked the calendar. Executives.
Such a busy
I'm sure I'll be
lifestyle
back.
you have,
I get so much done. That's the thing. It's quite a good thing to have in the diary at least, because for me, obviously I've got too many things on the go at once.
Yeah.
So I always have things ready to paint and finish usually for this night. So it's quite a nice sort of schedule for me to actually get things finished.
And hopefully people that are watching are hobbying as well at the same time, and we're spending this time in like a hobby hangout. It really is a nice thing to be fair, I've really looked forward to this on a Monday now. I really do. It's one of my highlights of the week. It's one of the really nice things to do. You get to hang out with people that obviously enjoy the hobby just as much as you, and it is nice to get a bit of social interaction in it, especially in these times. But yeah,
I hate
think
that.
I will say, I actually managed to get on tonight. It's been really enjoyable. I've got a lot done. So yeah, thanks for inviting me on, guys. Really appreciate it.
Definitely. Welcome back anytime. Same with anyone else who want to join. Please feel free, and just like I say, just contact us on Facebook.
Yeah, just open
even
invite.
If you don't have a YouTube channel and you just want to come on for a special episode, you're welcome. Absolutely welcome, and just for a hobby hangout, absolutely. So yeah, get in contact, guys. But I think that's everything for this week. If you want anything else from you, Dom?
No, I think all good. Thanks, mate. Hope everyone has a good week. Thanks everyone who joined.
Yep.
I think we've had some good interaction. We managed to get through my slightly controversial topic without anyone killing each other, which is great. And Yeah, Leslie says he's just finished 50 bases tonight, so there you go. It was productive for him. There you go. All good. Yeah, likewise. Have a good week, folks, and stay safe. And we will see you next week. Same time, same place.
See you next week. Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Guys, take care.
Bye.